Well, hello. I'm coming to you on a very distorted camera because we're going to use a close-up camera that I have. This is a special document camera that I purchased specifically to do close-ups with channel funds. And specifically what we're going to look at is the reserve tank that you find on Geha fountain pens. So with Geha, one of their selling points is when you run low on ink, push the button, and you have a reserve tank so you can write a little bit more. Now, of course, it's just releasing ink that's already in the pen, but I have always kind of been curious how it works, so we're going to look at it. Alright, so let's take a look at a few Geha pens. So I'll start with what inspired this video, so we'll take these guys out. I was cleaning my Geha Boy, this guy right here, and I noticed something black sitting inside the ink window. It was loose. So that's this part right here. Now, I don't know what it is. I can't see where it's attached to anything, but it was definitely in there. So, what else you gonna do? You take it apart. So I unscrewed the piston. And I might use this piston for a piston video up the road here. And then I unscrewed the nib. Okay. I was lifting something heavy, and it bothered my left hand more than my right. My left hand is still a little shaky there. Spent a whole day lifting heavy stuff, and it's just shaky today. Okay, but anyway, so I couldn't see where it attached. But do you see that? Whoops, let's try that again. Okay, I need both hands here to do this. Whoop. Yeah, what's that? Well, Geha pens, a lot of them come with this little slidey switch on the back of the feed. And if you look at Geha advertisements, they'll often say mit reserve tank. Well, probably they say it in German, but anyway, I always vaguely wondered how the reserve tank worked. So check this out. We got a hole here for the ink to go down. And then, oh golly, out of ink. Pop this up, and supposedly that's going to give access for a little more ink to come down. Not sure how that works. And I don't know what this has to do with it. I don't remember noticing that piece in there before. So it came loose from something. It doesn't look like it came loose from the piston. Because if it did, I'm not 100% sure how it was. Well, I guess it could have, but I don't remember seeing it, and I don't see how it was attached. So then I got to wondering, what is this reserve tank like in other Gehas? So let's go to the very first one I ever bought. This Geha Futura. So the Futura has a pretty orange button, and you push it, and the reserve tank is supposedly open. So how does that work? Well, this one still has an original cartridge in it. So they made special cartridges. The one end was the Standard International, and the other was a special Geha cartridge. And let's see if I can get some light overhead, possibly. So there is what's inside. Not quite as well lit as I'd like, but when I press the reserve tank, so remember what that looks like. Oops, let's get you back here. Just remember what that looks like. Now we're going to put in our cartridge. So I'll take you down to the switch. That pushes the switch back down. Now, do you see it? So this thing in the middle pops up. So my guess is what we're doing is we're just opening up a valve a little bit lower on the pen. By the way, this was so you could have a second cartridge upside down, and then put in your second cartridge and you run out of ink. So let's test our hypothesis. This is a Geha. Can't remember the number. I had it written down. But anyway, nice one with a gold nib. This doesn't stick out quite as much. It's a little tighter also. But anyway, let's open it up and look. Now this one I've put the platinum converter in. And it doesn't push that switch back down. See? So it's missing something that's in the original Geha converter. Don't know what. Or cartridge, because I've never found a Geha converter. When I put the Geha cartridge in, down she goes. So let's take a look here. We're going to push up the switch. Aha. So this central piece just rises up. Then I put in my cartridge, and she pushes back down. And for whatever reason, the platinum is missing something and doesn't do that. So the platinum is the one with the metal on the end there. All right. Well, the Geha Boy is a piston filling pen. It's probably my oldest Geha. So that got me curious. I don't have another piston filling pen here. So I went looking at my collection of Gehas, because why have one when you can have more than one, right? So I have this Geha 72. Or is it a 712? 712, I apologize. Oh, so now we got to turn our light around here again. I'm not using my regular camera for this either, so this is a little awkward. The lighting... But anyway... Oh, you can see in there. Look, here's the switch. So let's see what happens if I push the switch up. Oh, yeah. So I kind of hid that with my finger. That thing in the middle went up. Now we'll push the piston down. No, that's not your eyesight. That is the piston in the way. And it pushed it back down. Push the switch up. And push it back down. Oh, we missed that time, didn't we? Okay, doesn't seem to want to push back down. But anyway, so that got me thinking, what is actually going on in there? So I'm looking for a pencil over here, which I would... Yep, there, I knew I had one over here. Very dull pencil, but that's okay. So what I'm thinking is what you've got, something like this. Has a switch down here inside in the feed. So here's the feed. And when we push this up, we open up a valve down here to get those last couple of drops of ink that are in the pen. When it's down, we're covering this valve up and the ink goes in the normal way. Yeah, that's what I have as a working hypothesis. So if you know, or you know of a source that will show how it works, I'd love to see it. So that was the Geha reserve tank. I hope that was interesting. And if you know what that little black piece of plastic is from the Geha buoy and how it's supposed to be attached, I'd love it if you'd let me know. Or is it supposed to be loose in there? I don't know. Hope that was interesting. Hope it was useful. And, if you're looking to get into vintage pens, there are a lot of very high quality Geha pens out there. Don't be afraid of cartridge converter. Yes, they used a proprietary cartridge, which is no longer sold, but you can find them. And in most Geha pens, I've only found one in my collection so far, the platinum converter fits. Just something to keep in mind. I have also heard that you can use cross cartridges, although I've never tried that. So, anyway, hope that little piece of history was interesting. Hope it was useful. We'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.